Video cannot start. बीच में दिखा अभी आवाज करो जरा। हाँ देखो है ना। वीडियो क्यों नहीं लेगा इसको बंद क्या ये बस hello hello anyone reply now audible
Yes, sir.
Yes, audible.
okay okay thank you ले लो ये लैपटॉप screen is visible
Yeah.
yes thank you good morning students now we are going to discuss the new topic of your skill based lab course Python programming we are going to discuss the arrays in Python, how to write the program of the arrays and how to use that array one dimensional, two dimensional, what are the packages we require. We are going to discuss it here right now. What is an array? Basically, whenever you will say the definition of the array, it can be said that it is basically an object that stores basically the group of this similar element or the same data type. In the array, we are trying to store the elements or the objects of the same data type, and it can store only one type of the data, integer, float, etc. So it will store only one type of the data, and array can increase or decrease dynamically when it is required. And basically you can say that it is similar to the list. If you understood the list, then it will be easier for you to understand the arrays. Basically it is similar to the list. We are going to discuss one by one how to use that array. What are the different import packages is to be required. Next, creating the array. How we can create the array? That you can see it here. The basic syntax for creating an array is this one. Name of the array is any variable which you are going to decide it. Is to follow the rules of your variable declaration. Then basically you can use the array as the constructor. Then type code means which type of the data you are going to store it here. And then elements, you can say it is in the square bracket, so you can say that it is similar to the list. So here you can write the each and every element or the data which has to be separated by comma. Now here type code, what is the type code? You can see here one diagram is given, one image is given, which is basically commonly used type codes. If you want to use the character, then you can use that B or capital B. If you want to use the Unicode character, you can use the U, then short, int, unsigned it, etc. Basically we are using it here integer, so we are using the signed it. Then for the long, then for the double, then for the float, etc. That type code you can use it here inside. So here in the example I have written it as a is equal to array, then I is basically your type code, and then we are writing the data 4629 separated by the comma. I, when you're going to see the I inside this image, you find that this is nothing but your integer which has the minimum size of 2 bytes. So this is the syntax for creating the array. Next, importing the array module. There are basically 3 ways to import the array module. Means array is basically one of the module which has to be imported whenever you're going to use it. So these are the 3 different ways by using which you can import your module. Import array, first one. Second one, import array as AR. We are indicating the array with the help of that variable as AR. Then we are importing in the third way, import from array import star. So here star is mentioning. These are the 3 ways. We are going to discuss one by one how we can write it in the same in the form of the example. So you can consider the first. You can consider the first one, import array. First, you have to write the import array that you have seen it here. Import array. The first I'm going to use it. Import array. Array is imported. This package of the module is already available. Then a is equal to array. Array is basically here import array. This is the name of the import packages which is written here as array.array. Yes.
So not
Sir,
visible.
that previous
Creating an
slide is
array
visible.
slide is visible.
Sorry.
Creating an
The
array slide is
creating
visible.
The slide in which packages are mentioned isn't it is not that slide.
Which slide you can see right now? Creating an array.
Creating an array. Yeah.
Now
Still same.
Same.
Same
it
slide.
is not changing.
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
No.
No, sir.
Okay, my side it is changing. Wait 1 second. I will once again share it. I will stop the sharing. Then once again I will share it. Let us see what is the problem. Now which slide you can see?
Objectives.
Arrays in Python.
Okay, next slide is the definition, right?
Yes.
Now creating an array.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now
Yes, sir.
importing the array.
It's
Yes.
working.
Yes.
Okay, now I'm starting once again repeating it from this point. Importing the array, basically there are three ways to import the modules. Whenever you are going to do is read, whenever you're going to implement a program of the one-dimensional array, at that time you require to import these three ways. Import array, then import array as AR, then from array import star. These we are going to use it one by one, but at the same time you have to remember these syntax for creating the array. You should have the array, then you should include your type code, then the elements which you want to insert it into the array. So the first one, import array. Import array, as we have written in the first slide, import array, these are the three different ways. So first one we are going to use it, import array. So here once again importing the array or the packages which are already available. Then a is equal to array. First array is the name of the import package, then dot array. This is the syntax we are using. Then we are using the type code as integer. Then we are using the data which is the integer 5, 6, 7, 8, minus 7 and 8. Each and every element is separated by the comma. Then a is now is to be termed as the array. So we are printing the array elements. For that purpose, we are using the for loop for elements in a. Element is basically a variable which you are in the use for identifying the elements inside the array. In is basically your operator, and a is the name of the array. Then colon followed by indentation mark, and we are writing here at print element. So you can see the output here. The array elements are 5, 6, minus 7, and 8. Basically, here we understood how to use the import array only. If you write the same program by using the second way, so how it will be? It will be like this one, import array as AR. Now instead of array, we can use it as the AR. Here AR, it can be anything. It will be defined by the user. You can write as BR, you can write as CR, you can write it as the AA, etc. So basically here we are writing as the AR, and then A is equal to AR. AR is importing, basically indicating the packages dot array. Once again, we are using how to create an array. The same syntax, array, then type Unicode, then once again we are writing the data. After that, in the similar way, we are trying to display all the elements which are available inside the array by using the for loop for elements in A, then print element. You can see the output. All the elements which are available inside the array is now displayed 5, 6, minus 7, and 8. This is we understood how to import by using the second way. Third way. This is the third way, from array import star. Now from array import star, there is nothing is to be declared. Everything is to be imported. That's why import star. Star means everything will be included here. So here we are directly writing as a is equal to array, then type code, then data. We are not using array dot array. We are not using ar dot array, etc. Because it is imported as star. This third one is the simple to utilize it. From array import star, then it will be created array. That is I 5, 6, minus 7, and 8, and then a will be treated as your array, and finally we are displaying the elements inside the array, so you can see the output. So these are the three different ways by using which you can create your own array. And basically here we are importing the array module, import array. So at that time of the creation, you will write array dot array, then type code, then data or elements or objects, then import array as AR. So here AR is indicating the array, so we'll write AR dot array. Then once again everything will remain same. If you're writing the third one from array import star, directly you can use the syntax array inside a bracket type code and then element separated by the comma. So these are the three ways by using which you can import an array module. Now here, creating one array from the other array. How we can create an array from the other array? We are using the third way from array import star. We are writing arr1 is equal to array, then type code, then element separated by the comma. So here first one is arr1 is created. Now the aim says that create one array from the other array. So we are writing here as that arr2 is equal to array, then arr1. Inside that we are creating a we are trying to utilize your first array. So here we are writing arr1 dot type code, comma a into 3 for a in ar1. A into 3 means we are trying to multiply the data which are available inside the arr1 with 3, and then we are using the for loop for a in aar1 for going each and every elements. For that purpose we are using the for loop. For a in ar1 print a, then it will definitely going to display each and every element. So in that scenario we are going to use the value of a, and it will be multiplied by 3. So you can see the output. Once again we have displayed the output. Print the array elements are for elements in array 2, then printing the element. So here you can see it. First element is 5, it is multiplied by 3, 15. 6 multiplied by 3, 18. Then 7 multiplied by 3, 21, and then minus 21. And then 8 multiplied by 3 is 24. So you can see the output. But here you should understand the third line of the code, how it is utilized. AR2 equal to array. Then we are using the reference of array ARR1 dot type code. And then we are writing here. Basically, we are trying to use the same type code which are defined here as in ARR1. That's why in ARR2 there is no need to write it. So here we have created one array from the another. Third one, indexing and slicing. Likewise, we have done the indexing and slicing in the list in case of the string, in case of the tuple, in case of this, in case of the dictionary. So similar way, you can use your indexing and slicing it here also. So once again, we are creating a program to retrieve the array element. First, we are importing a package, importing a module from array import star. Then we are creating an array X, where the data is to be given as 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Now here we are calculating the length of the X. Basically len is the method to calculate the length, and X is basically your array. Now for I in range n, we are moving to each an element. For that purpose, we are using the range method. We know that how why the range is to be used to move to the next location. Yes. Everyone mute yourself. Mas Chunawala, do you have any problem? Okay, fine. So here length is to be calculated for n, and it will be stored into n. Then for I in range n, we are moving from 0 to n minus 1 location. And then we are printing print X of I. I is refers to an index value, and we are moving the data which has to be stored at particular index. And then /t we are using end, that give the tab in between the two data which you are printing. So you can see the output here, stand space 20 space 30 space 40 and then space 50. So here we have used the indexing, that is X of I. At particular index we can print your data. Likewise, you have done in the C as well as in Java. We are using to print the data X of I. So similar way here we have used the index, but for moving towards the index we are using the for loop. When I, then it will range your n. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is there, so it will go from 0 to n minus 1, that is 0 to 4, and it will try to print each and every element. Next, we are trying to use the indexing. Likewise, we have used in the case of the list as well. Then from array import star, we are using the third one, that importing your array module. Then we are creating an array where the element is 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Then first one, print type of X. Can anyone reply what is the use of type? Why we are using type method? Anyone reply why we are using the type method? Unmute and reply.
To find data type.
Yes, to find the data type we are using the type. So you can see the output is given with the hash comment, that class array dot array. Basically this is your array. So type is used to find out the data type. of your value of your variable. So here X is to be declared as the array. So here we are calculating what is the data type of it. So you can see that it is basically a array. Now y is equal to x. X is nothing but your array, and here we are using the 1:1:4. So basically what it will do, it will try to print from first to the third element. We have the element 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it will print the element from first to third. So you can see that whenever you use the print y, and you can see the output that is declared array I, then it will display the data from 1 to third, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, up to the 3, it will display the data. Not it will go to the 4 location, it will always go to the n-1 location. So 20, 30, 40 is to be displayed. If you are using y is equal to x of 0 colon, we are not writing after colon anything. So what it will do, it will print from 0 till last. If you want to print from second to the last, so you can use 2 colon. So it will go from 2 to the last. So whenever you will print the value of y, you can see to it here, it will display all the elements which are available inside the array as 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Similarly, y is equal to x colon 4. We are not writing anything before the colon. So what it mean? What is the meaning of it? It will print from 0 to the third location. So you can see that whenever you are printing the value of y, so you can see the output as 10, 20, 30, and 40. It will print the element from 0 to the third location. It does not go to the fourth location as 50. But if you write it as the 5, then it will go from 0 to fourth location. Then y is equal to x of -4 colon. We are not writing anything after the colon. So what it will do, it will print the last 4 element. How it will print the last 4 element? Suppose 50 is your -1, then 40 is -2, then 30 is your -3, then 20 is your -4. So from that, it will print it in the same order. So you can see the output as 20, 30, 40, and 50. In this way, it will print your elements of the array. So that is nothing but your slicing. Next, if you're writing the slicing as y is equal to x -4 colon -1. So what it will do, it will print from -4 to -2. Whenever you will print the value of y, you can see that here -1 is your 50, then 40 is -2, then 30 is -3, then 20 is your -4, right? So in that way, it will print. But from which point it will start from 20, and then it will go up to 1 -1. So it will go up to -3. So you can see the output as 20, 30, and 40. Suppose you are writing y is equal to x, then 0 colon 7 colon 2. So what it will do, it will print from 0 to 7, but at the same time, it will jump. Here is defined as 2. So it will take a jump of 2. So 0 to 7, whatever it is available, 0, then 0, after that 2 will be added, then after that 2 will be added. In that way, it will go ahead till the 7th position, means n-1 position. At that time, it will take a jump of 2. If the data is available, up to that point, it will display, otherwise it will stop. So here you can see that first is your 10, then it will take a jump, 30 will be displayed, then it will take a jump, and 50 will be displayed. So in this way, 0, 1, 2, then 3, 4. At that time, it will display the data as 10, 30, and 50. Next one is y is equal to x -1 colon -5 colon -1. So it will print the data in the reverse order. It will go -1. Then once again, what is the jump is to be defined it here? The jump is defined as -1. So -1, -2, then -3, then -4, then -5. It will not go. It will always go up to the 1 - location. So you can see the output now, how it will be printed in the reverse order. In the reverse order, it will be printed as 50, 40, 30, and 20. So if you want to print it in the reverse order, you will do the increment of -1. As you can see the previous example as well, -1 -4 colon -1. So here it will go from the left, right to left, but basically it will print the data in the same way. So if you want to reverse the data by using the slicing, you can use in such scenario as y equal to -1 up to the position which you want to print. At the same time, you have to give the jump or the increment as the -1. So basically, you are able to print your reverse data. Then changing the array element, how we can change the element inside the array. For that purpose, you can use search statement x 1 colon 3. So here x 1 colon 3, we are using array I, then it will be exchanged with 2, 4. So from 1 to 2 changes 2 to 4. So 1 position and second position data will be now your 2 to 4. So whenever you print the value of x, you can see that 10 will be remain same as it is. 0th position, 1 and 2 position will be changed. 1 and 2 was the 20 and 30. Now it becomes 2 and 4. So if you want to change the data which are present at that particular position, you have to give it into the slicing. So it will basically it will change your data. Now, if you want to display the range of the element using slicing, how you can do that? Suppose your array is declared as x is equal to array, then all the elements are stored from 10 to 70. Each and every elements are separated by the comma. After that, you are using the for loop for I in x 2 to 5. Now here x is basically your array, but at the same time here the limit is to be given. Starting is 3 and then ending is your 5. That is 5 minus 1. So basically what it will do, it will print from 0, 2, 3 and 4. So you can see that 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4 to 30, 40 and 50 is to be displayed. Means here if you want to limit the display also, at that time you can use that particular index, particular slicing. So even the elements are available inside the array, but still if you want to display to the particular element which has been specified, so you can display it. Now processing the array elements, these are the some methods which are used if you want to process the elements which are available inside the array, like append, clear, copy, count, extend, index, insert, pop, remove, reverse, sort, etc. All these methods you can use it. Let us see some of the examples which we have. Let us see some examples of the method, that method which has been defined in this slide. So try to utilize it, so you will be understand how you are going to use it. Basically, once again we are importing a module of array module from array import star. Then we are creating an array I 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50, and then we are printing the original array. So it will basically print your entire array which has been initialized by the u. Then after that, suppose you want to use the append method. You want to append 300 and 600 into the array which has been defined as ARR. So basically we are writing here as the ARR dot append, and after that inside these brackets we are writing the data. So we are appending the data 300 and 600. So whenever you are going to print it after appending, so you will get that data. As you can see to it here, the first one is original array to be printed, and after that, after appending 300 and 600, so 300 and 600 will be added at the end. Next, insert 99 at a particular position. If you want to insert the data at particular position, so you should use the insert method along with the reference of your array. So ARR dot insert 1, 99. After inserting 99 at position 1, so you can see the data here. Now 99 is inserted at position 1, and after that all the data will be shifted towards the right. If you want to insert the data at particular position, you can use it insert, but at that time the index has to be mentioned, and after that the data has to be mentioned. Then if you want to remove any element from the array, at that time remove method is to be used. For example, ARR dot remove 20. So after removing 20, you can see that here in the previous slide, the 20 in the previous, after inserting the 20 was there in the data, but now you can see that after removing the 20 is to be removed from that particular array. So if you want to utilize it, you can use that method to remove, and it will remove the data. Here index and nothing is to be mentioned, but basically it will search 20 and try to remove it. Then pop, removing the last element, n is equal to ARR dot pop. So here after popping, you are trying to print entire the data, and then you are printing the value of it. So you can see that after using pop, your entire data is to be displayed. Where the 600 is not available, means it is deleted or it is removed. And whenever you want to see the elements which has been popped, so you can see that 600 is popped. Then if you want to find the position using the index of particular data, so you can use that index method. N is equal to ARR dot index of 30. So here it will give the index of the 30. So 30 is available at which position? 0, 1 and 2. So here index, you can see that the output first occurrence of the element 30, it is available at index 2. Then if you want to convert an array into the list, if you want to convert an array into the list, for that purpose the toList method is to be available, but you have to use it along with the reference of your array name. So here you are using lst is equal to ARR dot toList. So it will convert it into the list. So you can see to it here, print lst and print array. Both you can see to it. List, it will be printed like a list, and array will be printed like a print. So if you want to, once again, here you will write the type lst. So you will see that this is list. If you write a type ARR, so at that time you are going to see the array. In this way, all the methods which are available, you can utilize it. A simple program in Python to implement the bubble sort. Here we are trying to accept everyone is knowing the bubble sort. I hope that everyone is knowing because you have studied the same program in the case of the Java as well. You have same in the data structure as well as now analysis of the algorithm to analyze how the complexity of that, what will be the complexity of this algorithm at that time also you have studied. So we are not concentrating on the data type, on the logical operation of it, but basically how we are going to utilize, you can see it with the help of the Python syntax. So we are using this bubble sort. Then first we are importing the array module. So we are writing from array import star. Then we are creating an empty array. Right here we are trying to accept all the elements of the array from the user. That is the main concentration which is to be given here in this program. Otherwise, all the logical operation which you are studying in the data structure or the analysis of the algorithm, it will remain same as it is. So now how to create an empty array? For that purpose, we are writing. You can see to it here a single square bracket. It will remain as the one dimensional, and basically it is your array where nothing is to be available because no data is available. So it will be considered as the empty. X is equal to array, then integer. We are considering it as the integer, but no data is available right now. So it is empty. We have to accept this data from as an input from the user. Now store elements in the array. We are printing how many elements. So we want to accept from the user how many elements he wants to enter into the array. So for that purpose, we are accepting the n. So n is equal to int, then input. We are accepting the input from the user as what will be the limit, right? So whenever you want to access, whenever you want to insert the data into the array, at that time you should know the location from 0 to n minus 1. So that n minus 1 is defined with the help of the n, and it will always start from the 0. So for I, we are using for I in range, then n. So what it will go from 0 to 1, then 2, then 3, then 4 up to n minus 1 location. So each time then colon, after that at the indentation mark, that will be considered as the part of your for loop. So we are printing print inter element. Then x dot append method, we are using here append method. We know that append method is going to add the data at the end. As we have seen in the previous slide, we have entered 300 and 600, which you can see that it is added at the end of the array. So basically here we are appending x dot append int input. We are accepting the input which is of the integer type. And now whenever you print your original array, you are going to see the original array. So you can see the output. How many elements? Suppose you have entered the 5 element. So here you enter the 5 elements. So enter element 1, then enter element 3, 2, 5, 4. Here the user has entered. So whenever you are going to print it original array, so you can see that 1, 3, 2, 5, 4 is to be printed. Here you have understood how to accept the input from the user inside the array. And after that, the logical operation of your bubble side on the right hand side of the slide, it will be remain same as it is, as you have studied in the data structure of the analysis of the algorithm. Nothing is to be changed. Whenever the first data is greater than the second data, then we have to perform the swapping of it. And then finally, when everything is to be in the sorted order, then it has to be displayed. So you can see the output sorted array 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So in this way, we can declare an empty array. We have understood how to declare an empty array and how to insert the data dynamically at the time of running from the user. 10 types of the array. Basically, here is your single dimensional array, or you can see that one dimensional array, or you have the two dimensional array. Suppose one dimensional array we have studied now on all the slides, that marks array, then type code, and then we are inserting the elements which are separated by the comma. Multi-dimensional, we are using marks is equal to array 50, 60, 70, then we are separating it comma, then we are inserting the other set of the elements, then once again separating by the comma, then other set of the elements. So first student marks, basically we can say that first student marks is written in the first row, but Python does not support multi-dimensional array. We can construct it dynamically using the third party package like yours NumPy. So for whenever you want to use your multi-dimensional array, at that time you make sure that the NumPy is to be installed in your system. So you go that pip install NumPy. We have understood how to install the NumPy into your system. At the time of installation of the Python, I have given the some syntax for you. You will refer that slide pip install, then you write the NumPy, so it will install your NumPy. You want to check that NumPy is available or not, go into the shell and try to write import NumPy and then press enter. If nothing will come, next triple greater than symbol will come, means the NumPy is successfully installed. You can import the package, otherwise it will give the some error that the package is not available. Once again, make sure that it has to be installed into your system. Now working with array using NumPy. After you make sure that the NumPy package is to be installed in your system. first one statement that you are going to write an import numpy. We are importing the numpy, and then we are creating arr is equal to numpy, that is your package dot array, and then we are writing the set of the data which are separated by the comma, and then printing it. You can see that the output is to be printed as 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. This is first way import numpy. Next is your import numpy as np. So here we are, instead of using the numpy, now we are using np. It can be decided by anything to the user, ar, np, n1, etc. So we are writing arr is equal to np dot array. Then we are writing 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. And then we are printing the data, but we are only using the reference as np. That's it. And now you can see that output which are printed in here. Then by using third way from numpy import star, there is no need to use it. The numpy or the reference attribute which has been defined as np, we can write as arr is equal to array, then 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50, and then print arr. Basically, it will print your entire array. So here we have understood how to import these packages by three different ways: import numpy, then import numpy as np, then from numpy import star. Now these are the some operations, mathematical operation on the numpy array. Basically, what the operations we can perform it here onto the array. Once again, here you use the form numpy import star, then the array is to be inserted, and it is named as arr. And basically, whenever you're printing it, you can see that output 10, 20, 30, 40, and 30.5 and minus 40. Now we want to perform some mathematical operation like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulo on each and every elements of the array. At that time, you can use it. After adding 5, you can see that 5 is added to each and every data which are available inside the data. 10 plus 5, 15. Then 20 plus 5, 25. Then 30.5 plus 5, 35.5. Then minus 40, and then plus 5, it is minus 35. So it will perform the array plus 5 operation on each and every element. Similarly, arr minus 5 operation print after subtracting arr, arr minus 5. So here you can see that 10 minus 5, 5, 20 minus 5, 15. Then 30.5 minus 5, 25.5, then minus 40 minus 5, then minus 45. Similarly, you can perform arr multiplied by 5, arr divided by 5, arr modulo by 5. On each and every element, you will perform the operation, mathematical operations. So if you have any set of the data where you want to perform such type of the operation, you can declare it and you can perform that sort of the operations. If you want to perform some expression also on that particular set of data, you can also perform the operation on it. That print expression arr plus, then you can use the power, then minus 10. So here you can see that a value will be written as per the expression which you are defining it here. Similarly, you can perform the mathematical functions like sine, cos, tan, max. You can find out the max, minimum, and sum of the array at the time, mean or average of the array. So you can use directly that functions. Sine arr, it will give the sine value of that particular sine of 10, sine of 20, sine of 30.5, sine of minus 40. You can see the data which is to be printed as the sine value. Similarly, the cos values to be printed cos, then arr, entire cos values to be printed, then 10 ar or the 12 values of that particular array values to be printed. Max arr, here it will give the maximum element of the array. You can see it here, 30.5. Then minimum arr, it will give the smallest element of the array. Then sum, it will give the sum of all the elements which are available inside the array. Then mean, basically it will give the average of all the elements. So these are the some mathematical operations which we can perform it here. So as for the applications, we're going to use it if it is available in such a way that you have to find out the cost and or etc. of each and every element. You can use such functions and easily you can predict your data. Next is slicing and indexing. Likewise, we have used the slicing and indexing on your array module. Similarly, you can use it here. Now suppose here first we are importing the package from numpy import star. Then we are creating at the array with elements from 10 to 15. Right. For that purpose, you can use the a range method. So a is equal to a range, then 10, 16. This is the one way how you create an array. So we are printing here as print A 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So it will print from, it will take the array from 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, not 16. So you can see the output as 10 to 15. But method, you should remember it. This is your A range. Now we can perform all the operation of the slicing as well, retrieving from 1 to 5 with the step size 2. So we can write it as the B is equal to A 1:6:2. So it will print 1 to 5 and with the jump of 2. So here you can see the output from one position 1, then it will jump to 2, then 13, then it will jump to 2, then 15. So you can see the output as 11, 13, and 15. If you want to retrieve all the elements, you can simply use the double quote. Do not write anything value. So B is equal to A : : So entire elements of that array will be printed. You want to display by using the indexing as well. So you can use the while loop or the for loop. Here you have used the while loop. I equal to 0 while I less than length of A. Length basically used to find out the length of the A. And then print A of I by using 0, 1, 2, 3 index. It will print your data. And each value of I will be incremented here. So here we are writing as I is equal to I plus 1. Similarly, you can display it by using the for loop as 1, which will be simple as compared to the while. So here we are using for I in A. There is no need to use the increment as well. And then we are printing I value will be printed. Less than 1 minute is left. Once the meeting gets over, once again you have to log in on the same ID and password so that we can continue with the further topic. Hope everyone have understood. You can reply it. Can anyone unmute and reply? What are the 3 different ways by Can anyone unmute and reply? What are the 3 different ways to import your array module? Anyone unmute and reply?
Import star.
Import array as AR from array import star.
Good. As I answer all 3. Import array as AR, and then import array from import array star. All the elements will be considered, right? And for the multidimensional, what we are going to use, which package?
NumPy, sir.
NumPy.
So NumPy is already installed, or you have to install?
Pip install.
So we have to use the pip command to install.
Yes, we have to give the pip command to install it. Pip install, then name of the package is
NumPy.
NumPy. It will definitely go installing all the packages which are required. It will automatically take the data. Only you have to see it onto the CMD prompt that it is going to end or not. At that time, you have to wait it. And whenever it is successfully installed, it will give you the successfully installed. Then how to check is NumPy is successfully installed or not? What we should do?